we kill a tomato? Are we growing? Well, are we just sitting in the dark? Do we actually see the possibilities there are, or well, maybe we need someone else to bring a little light to it? Well, let's get that going here. I gotta talk to the production crew here. Let's get a little light going. Hey, crew, what's going on over here? Don't we know how to use the lights? My gosh, it's like I'm talking to myself, mainly because it is. All right, so there we go. We got lights. And sometimes that really is what it takes to get people engaged. Maybe it's to get ourselves engaged. You turn on the lights. Turn on the lights. See what's around us. See what those opportunities are. And I know it's so easy to get caught up in the humdrum. So easy to get caught up in, oh, I can't do that. So easy to get caught up in, I'm too old. That's not really good either. We just got to continue to keep growing, keep changing, keep making things. Hold on, keep making things happen. Wait a second. What happened to hair and makeup? I'm telling you, man, this production crew. So every once in a while, we need to continue to change ourselves here. Take a look at new ways of doing something. My man Teddy gave me a haircut. More than that, he reminded me that, you know what? It's not just the haircut, it's how we feel about the haircut, how we feel, how we make the whole thing work and just get ourselves going. As he put it, I got to train my hair. Let's go over here. We'll make it work that way. You know how hard it is to comb your hair backwards? Really do need a production crew here. There we go. Well, it works. That works. You try combing your hair ass backwards, man. Now that's growing. If you could do that, I got a feeling I know one person that could probably do it. She's done enough TV. She can figure it out, the backwards of the whole thing. I keep pointing to objects, so I look in the camera to see where the object are, and I'm pointing the wrong way anyhow. But wait a second, isn't that the point? Isn't that the point of the whole thing? Is that if we're not willing to screw up in front of people, if we're not willing to make some mistakes as we go along, well, then how are we growing? Or maybe we're just going along to get along, then you're just going to stay in the background all the time? There are times for that. Oh, I'll give you that. Absolutely. Hey, there are many times, many places I like actually being in the background. I know. You might find that hard to believe, but it is actually true. Again, another great example of that. It's not even this summer. It's been like a lot, with different efforts that I've been a part of, not leading, but been a part of. Giving somebody a word of encouragement, trying to share some thoughts as to how to do something, making phone calls for an area that was brand new to me this year. This year was another one of those things. It was like all of a sudden it just did that PR media contact thing. It was like never did that before. I've spoken to people on radio shows and guests every once in a while, but this was a bit more of a concerted effort to even get a message out on the whole thing too. So I mean that was different. That was different. So going along and helping people, I mean that's really important. But going along to just get along, I don't know. Think about that. I'm gonna have a cup of coffee prepared by the nutritional staff right here at Strategies of Success. Yeah, that's me too. We need a production crew. We need everything. Don't we need stuff like that to grow? Absolutely, we do. Absolutely. But that's it. But just going along to get along is not really going to be the answer. Then you run into one of those other little stupid comments about like, well, if somebody wants to change them, it's like, we can't do that. Well, why can't we do that? Well, you can't do that because we've never done it like that before. What the heck does that mean? If that was the case, we'd all be out in the fields planting stuff by hand, tilling the soil by hand. We'd all be farmers like we once were. Right? It wasn't until the Industrial Revolution back, years ago. My God, that's a long time ago. 100 years ago, 100 plus years ago. But we're prior to that, let's call it the 1800s. We were all farmers. In the early 1900s, now we're all rushing into the city because that's where the jobs were, industrial, and then the farming became much more automated. Well, maybe not automated at that point in time. Now it's automated. Now it's incredibly automated. These tractors are guided by GPS satellite, not stay in the rows, but GPS satellite. Well, if everybody just went along to get along and nobody said, hey, you don't need a driver for that. You don't need to look down at the ground to see that. We could do it by GPS. They're like, no way, man. I could see the farmers saying, that's crazy. That was not the word I was going to use. But hey, man, that is crazy. You need to see the rows. You need to know where the fertilizer is going. You need to till the soil in the rows, chop up those weeds and make everything happen. Nah. Fertilizers, come up with new fertilizers. Oh, there we go. Here's a topic for you. Fertilizers keep that soil growing. This way it could grow the same food time and time again. Great. And what about those insecticides? Making sure, you get no bugs or anything like that. Oh, yeah, this way the plants can keep growing and they don't have to compete with those pesky little critters. And you don't have to see because you have the idea that, these trucks are driven by GPS satellite, pinpointed. Crazy, right? That means the trucks can get bigger and bigger and bigger. Crazy stuff. Not really. It's actually realistic stuff that's going on. Everything gets bigger and bigger. Everything gets more automated. And if we always said, can't do that, that's not the way it's been done before, or we just go along to get along and everything, hey, that's a good idea. And everybody goes, yeah, that's crap. That's crap. And you're right, Doug, good afternoon to you, my friend. And his comment here is even bloopers are good to do. Without a doubt, they are. I'll keep the jokes aside on that one. Had a few doozies along the way, but it shows that, let me put it up there, Doug. There we go. As per Mr. King. Hello, Mr. Cowan, wife. Even bloopers are good to do. Shows people are able to make mistakes. That is true. Oh my gosh, some of us are very, very good at making mistakes. Some of us are incredibly good at turning those mistakes into learning opportunities into moving forward. But if all you're concerned about is getting along with other people and not ruffling anybody's feathers and just being a part of a group and just supporting the group quietly, you got to be willing to make those mistakes. You got to be willing to stand out. You got to be willing to bloop. I don't know if that's a real word there. I don't know if you bloop, but you got to be willing to say something that's just kind of a little bit off. It's like, that's a crazy idea. But here's the reality. Here's what truly happens when you do that crazy thing. Somebody else in the room says, let's think about that, because I don't know if that's as crazy as it seems. I really don't know if some of those things are as crazy as it seems, because that farmer is sitting there going, if the tractor was bigger, I could cover more acres. And it wasn't so much as that the farm is getting bigger, but those farm hands might be getting a little bit smaller. Look, the reality with some things is that we're not just following along in our family's footsteps. We're doing different things. We want to get off the farm and go someplace else. Boy, I can only imagine what took place during that Industrial Revolution, when those farmers that have been on the land for 100 years, multi-generations, all of a sudden, like that, and then they find out their sons and daughters are moving to the big city to be part of this new Industrial Revolution thing, to go work in these factories. Oh, how great that is. But they still had the same amount of acres, had to do something with it. So maybe that person that said, if we put extensions on the tractor and make it wider and wider, maybe somebody in that room said, that's the stupidest thing in the world. How are we going to do that? Somebody else raised their hand and said, we could do that. All we need to do is advance forward. So that's it. So here's the actionable thought I just really truly, want to share with with you in so many situations is how do we turn that light on? I'm not talking about the light switch. I'm not even talking about the clap on, clap off thing. Although I love that idea. I'm not talking about timers or anything like that. I'm talking about how do we instill the creativity in other people? There, my friends, that's really where it comes down to. How do we get people to be comfortable with bloopers? How do we get people to be comfortable with trying something new? How do we get people comfortable with making mistakes? How do we do that? And I think a lot of that has to do with by leading by example. But wait a second, hold on, hold on, hold on. I think we got a problem here, though, don't we? Or maybe we don't. You're the manager of a company. I've seen this actually in Toastmasters too, but well, let's go with Toastmasters. I'll use that as the example. Corporate clubs. Toastmasters has got community clubs, which is just a whole different mix of people. A age group, speaking style, speaking experience, everything across the board. Whole bunch of people. Generally speaking, a whole bunch of people that don't know each other. They're there for the purpose of becoming better speakers, stronger leaders. That's what they're there for. They don't know anybody in advance. They're not bringing any relationship stuff along, with them. I mean, occasionally we get, husband or wife or mother daughter or father son or whatever the combination is. But that's it. It's personal relationships. Rarely is it business relationship. Let's go to a corporate club. Corporate club. Corporate club is a club in a, let's say, corporate environment. I knew you'd guess that. It's in a corporate environment. Now, all of a sudden, you've got your fellow workers, your co-workers are now all going into the Toastmaster meeting to become better speakers and stronger leaders. All good. So let's assume everybody that is a worker for a company, all same title, same seniority, same everything. You go in there, you know each other, you're friends with each other. You go in there, you become better, try to become better speakers. You kind of mess up a little bit. And then whatever, everybody goes, oh, that's funny. That was good. Good try, right? Camaraderie. You're there with basically work friends, but friends that are supportive of each other. You all joined together. You joined as a group. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun. We go in there, we answer silly questions, we get some more serious questions, we give speeches, give a little feedback. Nobody's negative. It's all good. It's all good. But what about that? That's a going along to get along to a certain extent. Everybody's on that same plane. But what if you're a leader? Are you comfortable leading by example and having those bloopers come up and showing that you're approachable, that you're in that same category, that you're also looking to improve? Corporate club. If everybody's employees, they all join the club, it's one thing. Now all of a sudden you get management coming in. Ooh, you get a floor manager, you get an area manager, district manager, maybe even get the president of the company to come in. It's happened. Joins the club or attends a meeting. Oh, wait a second. There's a difference there. But let's talk about leading by example. True example. Manager of an office, most of the employees join the club, and everybody's trying to improve. This could be anything, taking a class in anything. In fact, I got another example of it too. Had nothing to do with public speaking, real life example. But now, if that manager, if you come in there If you are that manager and you come in, I hope everybody can read that. If you're the manager and you come in and you're going to see the meeting, attend a meeting, just to attend it, you're coming in there to analyze it. You're seen as an outsider. That's not leading by example. Leading by example means that old getting your hands dirty. That means participating. It means being a part of it. You really want to lead by example inside of Toastmasters? Don't attend a meeting, join a meeting. Get up there and speak. Maybe you're not going to make every meeting. We all get that because you got other things going on. Rather, maybe it's not your focus and whatever. Maybe it is. Maybe you want to become a better speaker too. And who is your audience? A lot of times, if you're a manager, those coworkers. So, be a heck of a bonding experience. If you join the club, not attend a meeting, but join the club. Join that club now if you're a part of it. And you get up there, you give a speech, and you know what, Doug? Yes, that's right. You do the blooper thing. See, Doug, you want to hang out with. The Doug is a source of bloopers. You ever need bloopers? You go to Doug, right, Doug? Hang out with Doug for a week, you'll see tons of bloopers. It's better to laugh with a person. 100% correct. Oh, I didn't read the rest of it. Better to laugh with a person with a disability than at them. But I get, you know what? Yeah, absolutely, man. It is all about, that kind of thing. It's better to laugh with. Always better to laugh with. And, in that Toastmaster meeting, if you're becoming a better speaker and you're a manager, you want to become as effective as you possibly can, join a club with your coworkers, go with your employees. But you have to do this. You have to do this. And Doug, you hit it right on the head here, right? You've got to laugh with a person with a disability. You have to have with a person that is somebody that is also trying to improve. You have to laugh with people. With is the key word. With. That's what you call leading by example. Maybe you don't have to make as many bloopers as Doug does. But hey, you know what? Why not? Why not? But that's really leading by example. That's how you make things happen. And that's how you build camaraderie. And that's how you continue to grow. And that's how you, that leader, that manager, really grow. Because look, here's the problem. If you go into that meeting to attend the meeting to see how it goes, and then they give you the opportunity to speak, now you're sitting up there. It's like all of a sudden you're the expert. You can't make a mistake because that's not how you presented yourself. That's not leading by example. And not only that, you gain nothing from that meeting. Nothing. Nothing. You can't say no because that really looks bad. You get up there and speak, but you're just going to give a very safe speech. Very safe. That's a go along to get along kind of a thing. But that's not what it's about. It's about pushing that envelope a little bit more. It's about growing. Not just going along, but it's about growing. Another example. This is last week. I had a chance to attend Education Day at one of the machinery companies that are here on Long Island, and it was attended by the principal and one of the instructors. But it was attended by the principal. Oh, I'm going to speak about this principal. It was about the principal attended that meeting with us and gave a presentation along with the instructor, along with a few other people at that meeting, at that Education Day. And boy, was it educational. And here's the part of it that really applies exactly to this. See, that teacher really wanted to have a machinery program, a hands-on program inside of the school because he felt just as strongly about student success going to college as opposed to going to a career in manufacturing of one sort or another. And he felt that a manufacturing program inside of the school would be a great idea. And he told us about examples of some of his students graduating with different certifications with using those manufacturing pieces of equipment and then getting accepted to schools, colleges, some very nice colleges, others going straight into the workforce. and getting some very nice careers, others going to college and pursuing something else other than machinery. He talked about all of that. He did a lot of talking about the success of the students. And then he really hit the nail on the head. Because what he spoke about was his own efforts with this. Yeah, granted, he's the president of the school, the principal of the school. So he's out, he's talking to the Board of Ed. Very important. He spoke about that. He spoke about how he talks to the business community, like that Education Day event as a prime example of it. He spoke about that. He spoke about how important it is for the business community to stand up and say, look, it's really important that our students that would much rather work in building things, and it's highly technical, folks. This is not just swinging a hammer someplace either. Highly technical stuff, very, very well paid careers, but how he spoke about how important it was for the business community to talk about the importance of the graduates moving on to either to college or careers, whatever it might be. He spoke about how great that program was. And then he spoke about the program, not as a principal, not as an instructor, not as a parent, not as a third party person either. No. He spoke about the fact that he did the program himself. He went through it. He tried to work on the different, and I'll tell you, to try, but he worked with the different machinery. He took the tests. Sometimes he took the test multiple times because he did not pass it the first time. No favoritism here. And then he spoke about the confidence building that came along with it, the skills that came along with it, and the fact that how much it's kind of added to him as a person and him as a principal, and certainly him as a speaker inside of that school, because now he could use that word with. He could use that word I participated in. Not I think, but I participated in. I took the test. I worked with the machinery. I did these different things. I see the potential in this program inside the school and inside the school's system, because it wasn't just his school, it was his school where it was the facility for it, but it ran a summer program too. And the summer program gave all kinds of people all kinds of really, really great, unique opportunities to further their careers. And isn't that what high school is supposed to be about? Helping students build credibility, build confidence, and get a better idea, at the very least, of where their career goes. But leading by example. He didn't just say it's a good program. He lived that program. He went and took that program. He worked with the instructors. He worked with the students. He worked side by side with the students, but he worked with the instructors. That's what you call leading by example. And that is absolutely unbelievable when it comes to turning on that light, because he's talking with firsthand experience. And Doug, you know that very well too. If you're speaking to somebody who winds up in a wheelchair for the first time, you and I, let's take that for example. You and I go in and we speak to somebody that's in a wheelchair for the first time. So I'm going to have a conversation with them. Oh, understand there are going to be changes in lifestyle and different things that you have to deal with that you didn't have to before. But, the world is full of possibilities. You could do all kinds of different things. And I wouldn't let that hold you back. You could work around it. Now, if I said that, and Doug, you said the same darn thing, except Doug says the word I. I know what you mean. Do I know what it is? No. Not from the standpoint of with. Not from the standpoint of leading by example. I can't do that. Doug can. Therein lies the difference. So when that principal did that, when that principal took those classes, he now leads by example with the students. He became a student to work with those machines and not all the rest of the stuff that he did. When he speaks to the parents about the importance of the whole thing, he's not talking in theory, he's talking in practicality. When he came down here and spoke to those manufacturers on that education day and the other educators that were there on education day, his message hit home totally different than some theoretical conversation. He turned on the light. He absolutely turned on the light. And that's really the thought I want to leave you with over here. You know, yeah, without a doubt. And Doug, what do we got? I got a couple minutes here. Is Doug's comment? We'll put you on over here. Disabled to disable has a better understanding. And I agree with you there, but it's anything to anything where you have the same kind of experiences. Look, the reason why Doug's in a wheelchair may be different than the reason why somebody else is in a wheelchair, but there's a commonality there. The educator up in the principal of that school has a different school than the principal of another school. Maybe has a different thing. There was a college there, a vocational college that attended that day versus, and there was also another community college that was there that day, and a high school that was there that day. Does everybody have a different set of circumstances? Yes. Is everybody after the same thing? Yes, I certainly hope so. And that's to turn the light on with the students to show and how important it is to further one's understanding and to see the different opportunities. And there was a naval architecture company that was there too. Talk about leading by example. First year, these are naval architecture students, right? College, really super, very, very focused school, tiny school, all the rest of that stuff. So what they do with their first year students, they send them out to a shipyard. They send them to a shipyard. This way they could go and work in the shipyard, not guide anything, but they get their hands dirty to actually weld steel that's going to be part of a ship, to do whatever else needs to be done in the shipyard. Second year, it's a 4-year program. Second year program, what they do is they send the kids out, send the students out on a ship to work as deckhands, to work actually on the operations of a ship, not operating the ship, right? But to understand what it's like to be crew, to understand all the aspects of that. Maybe to understand the importance of living quarters, maybe to understand the importance of a gym on one of these ships. If they're out at sea for months on end and they're traveling the world for months on end, that is their home. That is their everything. I mean, it really truly is everything. Now they have a much better understanding. So now when these students go and build something, they get it. They understand it from literally the inside out. They understand what those folks will be going through, not only just what the ship needs to be safe, but what those folks are going through and what the living conditions are and how they need to operate and on a daily basis. That I think is great. So with whatever your opportunity is to work with somebody, to inspire somebody, be it a student, be it your own family members, be it a spouse, be it your coworkers, maybe you're your manager, you need to inspire a little bit. Hey man, I've seen that one happen too. Whoa, I gotta tell you, sometimes managers should be managers, but we'll save that to somebody else to discuss about what makes a good manager. But sometimes they need to have the light turned on. This way they could see what the true potential is of everything. And the whole important factor with everything is that if you want to grow, if you personally want to grow, help somebody else grow. No, it's not altruistic or all the rest of that stuff. Look, it's always a bit about what's in it for me. But if you want to go from position A to position B, train somebody else. Inspire somebody else to take your position. This way you could move on and not leave a void in your organization. I got another story for that. But the most important story I got for you is the fact that our students today represent so much potential because they're going to sit in that room and they're going to say, why do we need someone to drive a tractor trailer? Why do we need somebody to drive farm equipment? It could be done by GPS. It could be self-driven, automated driven. And you and I might say that's crazy. I did. I did. There was a race that took place. It was self-driving cars, automated, no drivers. That's crazy. Is that really racing? I don't know. I thought that was crazy, but the person that I was with didn't think so. That's what's called moving forward, having an open mind to different things. Keep doing that. Keep moving forward. That is the key to it all. And inspire other people to do the same thing. All right. Let's see. We got some guests coming up. It should be really, really exciting. That's good. We're going to perhaps have a nutritionalist on. We're working on that one, perhaps as early as tomorrow. And then next week, speaking to somebody who is a business coach, and that has to do with delegating. Oh, now that's an idea. I need to delegate to my hair and makeup people. Yeah, you know what I mean? I bet you do. All right, do what you do best, my friends. Speak well, speak often, live inspired.